Hello everyone and welcome to this video on how to play chess. Chess is one of the world's oldest and most popular board game with a rich history and millions of players across the globe. Today we'll be going through the basics of the game from how to set up the chessboard to understanding how the pieces move and capture. We'll be also covering some advanced concepts such as castling, en passant and how to develop a winning strategy. First things first, let's talk about the chessboard. A standard chessboard has 64 squares arranged in an 8x8 grid. The squares are alternately colored in black and white with the players sitting opposite to each other. The vertical columns of chessboard are called files and they are named from the letters A to H. The horizontal rows of the board are called ranks and they are marked from 1 to 8. Each player has 16 pieces, 1 king, 1 queen, 2 rooks, 2 knights, 2 bishops and 8 pawns. The pieces are placed on the board in a specific way at the beginning of the game. To set up the chessboard, each player places their pieces on the first 2 rows closest to them. The rooks go in the corner followed by the knights, then the bishops, with the queen on her own color square and the king on the remaining square of that color. The pawns are placed on the row in front of the other pieces. Now let's learn about the value each piece have. The king is the most valuable piece on the chessboard and has 10 points, but its point doesn't really matter because king can't be captured. The queen, which is the second most valuable piece and the most powerful piece on the chessboard, has 9 points. The rook, being the third most important piece, has 5 points. Bishop and knight both have 3 points each and the pawn have 1 point each. White makes the first move. Now let's take a closer look at how each piece moves and captures. The king can move one square in any direction but cannot move into a square that is being attacked by an opponent's piece. The king is also important because if it is checkmated, the game is over. The queen is the most powerful piece on the board and can move any number of squares in any direction. The rook can move any number of squares horizontally or vertically. The knight moves in L shape, 2 squares in one direction and 1 square perpendicular to that. Bishop can move any number of squares diagonally. The pawn can move forward 1 square at a time but can only capture diagonally. However, on its first move, it can move 2 squares forward. If the pawn reaches the highest rank from its original position, it can get promoted to any one of these 4 pieces. Now that we know how each piece moves, let's take a look at some other important rules. Castling is a special move that involves the king and one of the rooks. It is the only time when 2 pieces can move simultaneously in chess. There are 2 types of castling, kingside and queenside castling. To perform kingside castling, move your king 2 squares towards the rook on its right hand side and then place the rook on the square next to the king, like this. Now let's talk about the queenside castling. It follows a similar principle but in the opposite direction. The king moves 2 squares towards the left hand side rook and then the rook moves to the square next to the king. Watch. Now that we know how to perform castling, let's go over some essential rules to keep in mind. Rule number 1. Neither the king nor the rook involved in castling should have moved before. They must be in their original positions. Rule 2. There should be no pieces between the king and the rook. The path must be clear for castling to occur. Rule 3. The king cannot be in check nor can it move through or into a square that is under attack. En passant is a special move in chess that can only occur under specific circumstances. It is a French term that translates to in passing. To better understand this rule, we will illustrate it with an example. Here we have a white pawn on e2 and a black pawn on d4. By playing e4, the white pawn triggers the en passant rule. The black pawn now has the option to capture the white pawn in passing by moving diagonally to e3. The white pawn is considered to be captured and it is removed from the board. This en passant capture can only be made on the very next move. If the opportunity is not taken, the chance to capture en passant is lost. The object of the game is to checkmate your opponent's king, which means putting their king in a position where it is under attack and cannot escape capture. If a player's king is in check, they must get out of the check on their next move. If a player cannot make a move, the game is a draw. There are 5 ways in which a game can end in a draw. First one being a stalemate, when a player has no legal moves to make but the king is not in check. Second one being the threefold repetition, that means both the player have moved 3 same moves consecutively. Draw by 50 move rule means that no capture or pawn move is being made in 50 moves. The fourth one being draw by agreement, wherein players agree to draw the game. The last one being draw due to insufficient material, when player do not have sufficient material to checkmate opponent's king. If you found this video valuable and helped you in any way, please show your support by giving it a thumbs up and sharing it with your friends and fellow chess enthusiasts. If you enjoyed the video and want to see more amazing chess content in the future, I encourage you to subscribe to my channel. Also, remember to hit the notification bell so that you never miss any of my future uploads. Thanks for watching.